We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Boom! Headshot!
Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time I want to talk about why buy Nasus. Nasus is a pretty sweet dude. He hands down has the best voice acting in all of League of Legends. That is a guarantee, 100%. And if you refute it, you're just plain silly because it is 100% clear. Nasus, the curator of the Sands, has the best voice in all of the fields of justice. But he's a very interesting champion, very straightforward, but he has some really cool mechanics that allow him to be a beast. I would say Nasus works best in the top lane or perhaps the jungle. He did receive a little bit of a nerf, which I'll talk about, but I still think he's quite a strong champion. I like to play him in the jungle. He's one of my favorite junglers, although I must admit that jungling is probably my weakest role, so probably this is not going to be the best video you will ever see in your life, but it was a ranked game and I was jungling and we ended up, I guess I won't spoil exactly how it ended up going, but overall I was pretty happy with it and I really do enjoy playing Nasus in the jungle. The thing about Nasus is that he scales extremely hard into the late game. He's one of the best scaling champions in all of League of Legends, so the longer the game goes on, the better he goes on, and he has almost an infinitely high scaling ceiling. So just a quick note here, you can see I'm starting with the blue buff. I actually took my Q first and then I took my E, but we will talk about that later. I like to get the Q as fast as I can so I can start stacking that up. So let's go ahead and start talking about his abilities, so that will actually make some sense as we watch me go through my first jungle run. His passive, Soul Eater, this grants him lifesteal. It starts 14, 17, and 20% as you rank up his ultimate. Bonus lifesteal, so very nice. That he gets lifesteal. You can see I'm starting with 19% lifesteal. I believe I'm getting another chunk of lifesteal. I think I'm getting it from my runes. I believe I have a lifesteal quintessence, a singular lifesteal quintessence. So very good stuff right there. Oh, I also believe I spec'd into the utility mastery tree, so taking some points there in spell vamp and lifesteal. So good stuff there. It gives him fantastic sustain, specifically in the jungle. I guess in lane it would work too, but in the jungle it really helps him with his clearing. You can see almost every time I'm auto-attacking, I'm gaining back the damage that they do to me. Doing a little bit of a run around to charge up my Q. But good stuff right there. His passive gives him fantastic sustain, and it's one of his greatest strengths is his ability to sustain in lane or in the jungle. You can see right here I'm even gaining health back as I'm attacking these small rays, because they don't do a lot of damage to me, as Darius picks up a kill in top lane against our Jace. Bit of a rough start in this game, I believe. But anyways, that's his passive. Very strong, gives him lifesteal. Good stuff right there. Next, his Q, his Siphoning Strike. This is his most... this is one of his most key and core abilities, I would say. It's one of the things that allows him to scale so effectively into late game. Basically, it is an basic auto attack reset, and it will do 100% of your base AD plus a base level of damage plus a bit of damage based on the number of times that you have last hit either a minion or monster or champion with your Q. So it's kind of like Veigar if you've ever played him before. Trying to think if there are any other champions that use this type of a mechanic, and I don't believe that there is. Ooh, a kill bottom lane. Trouble is so far in this early game, but his Q. So basically what you want to do is you want to last hit with it whenever possible, and then you will gain bonus damage. You can see right now I have 48 bonus damage. That means you get +3 per small minion, +6 per large minion and monster. So basically, right whenever, if you see his massive rod, if it will, right there you can see it actually was glowing red, or sparkling red I should say. That's when your Siphoning Strike is queued up. You want to last with it whenever you can. This is a very core, you see you did it right there again. This is a very core mechanic on Nasus' gameplay that you really want to make sure that you're last hitting with your Q whenever you possibly can, so you can stack up the damage. You can see I'm already up to 57, so that's 57 bonus damage every Q. And basically this allows you to scale infinitely. As long as you continually last hit with your Q, you will continually scale. So the idea here is that you build tanky, or generally tanky. There are a lot of different ways you could probably build Nasus, but I like to build him as a straight tank, and then you last hit with your Q a ton, and then you do a lot of damage, and you're really tanky. He's probably one of the few characters who is capable of doing that really, really well of being both tanky and a damage dealer at the same time, just because of the way his Q works. So, very, very core mechanic on him. When you're in lane, you definitely want to max this first because it will reduce the cooldown from 8 seconds all the way down to 4 seconds. So having a lower cooldown just means that you can almost last hit every single minion with it, and that is absolutely huge. If you're playing him in lane, one of the things that I would recommend doing is taking maybe your summoner spells would be Ghost and Teleport. Definitely one of them should be Teleport if you're going to play him in the top lane. Because what you want to do is you want to sit up in top lane, use your passive and your Q, and you just farm. For the first 20 minutes of the game, you just passively sit back and farm up your Q. You can see right now I'm at 78. You want to get that thing way high, up to 500, 600 maybe. I mean, that's pretty crazy high for late game, but you want to get it up really, really high with your Q. You want to get it as high as you possibly can. But go up to the top lane, farm up your Q for 20 minutes, take teleport, and then whenever there's a team fight, teleport into a minion or a turret or a ward, and then you can join the fights that way. But you always have the ability to be in your lane farming up your Q. Whatever you can do to farm up your Q, you definitely want to do. I cannot stress this enough. I spent a lot of time talking about this, but building up these AD, or I guess I don't even know what kind of damage it does. I believe it is physical damage. But anyways, you want to stack up your Q because it will scale infinitely hard. Next is his W, his Wither. This is one of the things that makes him a very strong jungler, and this was the ability that was recently nerfed. Basically, it is a movement speed and an attack speed slow on the target. It's just a point-and-click ability, and it's one of the most effective ganking tools. It's just a very, very good crowd control ability, and as you rank it and level it up, it actually becomes a very, very heavy and strong slow. I believe at max level it is a 95% slow, and the attack speed slow is half of that. So if you have a 95% slow and a 45% attack speed slow, that is just absolutely wrecking on an AD carry. That is going to absolutely destroy any AD carry that you will ever see. Just a very, very strong anti-AD carry spell right there. So anytime you get into a team fight, you want to pop your Wither onto an AD carry. Anytime you go for a gank, you want to pop your Wither on the highest priority target. That's pretty much how this ability works. Very, very strong. If you're jungling, I know a lot of pro players will max this second. I tend to max my Q second because in these lower elo games, I mean, this is like a silver league game. In these lower ranked games, I find that I need to carry a little bit more as a jungler rather than be more of a supporter. So I like to farm up my Q a little bit more while I'm in the jungle any which way. But we got a bunch of battling going on here. This is kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, overall, you can probably, when you're jungling, you're going to want to max your E first, and then maybe your W or your Q. It's just kind of up to personal preference, but the more points you put into your W, it does become a lot stronger for your ganking. So that's something to take into consideration if you do like to gank. Next up is his E, his Spirit Fire. This is a very, very handy jungling ability. It is an AoE damage over time spell that you place on target location. You can see every time I get up to a jungle camp, I'll actually throw this down. It will deal magic damage over time, and it will also reduce, let's see here, what armor. It also reduces their armor, which is very, very handy as well. I see right here, actually, this was a really bad idea, and I run right into this Tryndamere. A total derp and fail right there. Just gifted Tryndamere that kill. That was definitely a bit of a whoopsie-daisy right there, but that'll happen. Jungling instincts weren't quite on par right there. You can see I'm using my Wither right there, or my Spirit Fire to lay down on the jungle camp. I used my Q on the first small wolf and then using it again on that last big wolf. It's unlikely you're going to be able to use your Q on every jungle monster when you're jungling, just because the cooldown is so high and you want to clear relatively quickly. So what I like to do is, I did it right there. I will throw down my Spirit Fire, which is my E, and then I quickly use my Q on one of the smaller minions, and then the E will clean out the rest of the small minions, and then I will auto-attack the big minion until I can finish it off with a Q. So usually I get 2 stacks on my Q per jungle camp. That's pretty much the best way to do it. So right here, popping my Wither and my E and my Q onto this Thresh. There's another Q, just popping my ultimate even just to get even that bit much more damage. Another E. Can I get another W? Right there's another W, and then one last Q. I think we'll finish him off. Right there it is. I think actually my ultimate ended up getting the kill there, but ooh, a good trap there from Caitlyn. But I've got some backup coming, so able to pick up that kill, and I'm on the board. Lastly, his ultimate, let's talk about it. You just saw me use it. Fury of the Sands. It does a lot of different things. Primarily, it makes you really, really big. It gives you extra health. It gives you extra attack range and cast range. And it also, I believe it also gives you extra AD, and it also will deal damage over time to all enemies within 175 range, based on their percentage health. So very, very, very useful ultimate. It does a ton of different things. Like I said, it gives you health. It gives you get a bigger character. You gain bonus attack range. You gain bonus cast range for your spells. And then you deal magic damage per second to all targets near to you. And actually, he will convert a percentage of that damage back into bonus AD. There's the bonus AD. So, basically, what you want to do is anytime you're in a fight, you want to pop your ultimate because it'll do that percentage damage over time to any target near you. So it's an extremely strong anti-tank ultimate. It's also extremely strong for controlling Baron and Dragon. It's probably makes Nasus one of the strongest junglers in the game for controlling those objectives, which is probably one of the primary reasons you see him in competitive play, is because Nasus can right at level 6, he can easily solo Dragon. You go in there, you pop your ultimate, you use the percentage damage. You know, Dragon has a lot of HP, so you're going to do a lot of damage there. It's just very, very strong. Right here, looks like we're going in onto Darius and to Tryndamere. Orianna falls, but we are going to get Darius right there, and I'm in a bit of trouble here from Tryndamere. I'm trying to get away, but it looks like Ari's going to come in, and I'm going to be in a bit of trouble right there, but a bit of a gank gone wrong. I believe we went 1 for 2. Actually, 1 for 3. That's definitely not a good situation right there for our team, but that'll happen. Anyways, as I was saying with his ultimate, its primary uses are in team fights. It makes you really tanky. It deals damage over time to targets near you, so you want to be in the middle of a fight. And then also, it's extremely strong for controlling objectives like Dragon and Baron Nashor, just because it will deal that percentage damage over time. So overall, those are his abilities. He's got a really interesting and powerful skill set. You can see here with his Q, with his W, with his ultimate, he has a lot of different utility and damage that he can do without actually building damage items. That is probably one of the things that makes him the strongest, one of his greatest strengths. You can see right here, I'm going to go for a gank. At one point I soloed Dragon, not quite here. But with all of his skills and abilities, because his Q will stack damage, because his ultimate, it has that percentage-based damage, it just makes him very strong and capable of dealing a lot of damage without building a lot of damage items. I would say that is probably one of the core elements to Nasus's gameplay. And personally, I like to build him as a straight tank. So items like a Warmogs, a Iceborne Gauntlets is very, very strong in him because it works with his Q, and it gives him a bunch of armor. The Sheen proc from it is very strong because you're going to be using your Q a lot, so your next auto attack will deal bonus damage. Aegis is a really good item on him. Runic Bulwark, I believe, is what it transforms into when you complete the item. But overall, he just is capable of building almost any tank item and still dealing a lot of damage. That is his hallmark and what he is best at. So that's pretty much the main reason. You can see right here, I have not built a single damage item. I just got this jungle item, Spirit of the Ancient Golem, really nice, gives me health, gives me CDR. CDR is really, really good on Nasus. It's probably the only stat other than tankiness that you really need to build, because that means that you get more withers, you get more Qs, you just get more ultimates. More of everything is good because, like I said, Nasus, his abilities really empower his kit so much more than his itemization, and that's another thing too about Nasus, is he's very strong without items. He's very strong, and I didn't even know Darius was there. He's very capable of dealing a lot of damage and being very effective even when he's underfarmed. But, the thing that really makes him a beast and an unstoppable force is when you get to late game. You've got a Warmogs, you've got an Aegis, you've got a Runic Bulwark, you've got all these tanky items, but yet you have not built a single damage item, but you can still deal a ton of damage. So overall, it makes him a very strong and interesting champion. But at this point, I've pretty much just focused. They're going to pop my ultimate. At this point, I've mostly focused on farming. I would say that Nasus is more of a farm-based jungler than a support or a ganking-style jungler. I think that he benefits most from getting choked down really, really heavily right there. But you can see just how much damage I can take with my ultimate on. Like 5 or 6 turret shots, an ultimate from Kate, no big deal. Obviously, the heals from Soraka helps, but as I was saying, more of a farm jungler. I'm at 111 CS, and for actually a while in this game, I was leading in creep score on my team, which is pretty rare for a jungler, I would say in general. Jungling does not offer you these huge CS numbers, but with Nasus, you really want to seek out that creep score. You want to be stacking up that Q as much as you can. You want to be doing what you can to really power up early on and get yourself into a strong position. Because like I said, Nasus scales almost infinitely into late game. You know, the more that you can put into your Q, the better. But yeah, overall, basically you want to be the tank. So, you know, as we're getting into more of this team fight phase, I've stacked up my Q. Let's go ahead and take a look and see exactly how much I've got stacked it up. I've got 213 damage. So right there, I'm doing about 400 damage per Q. That's very strong. As Orianna actually gets caught out here, I'm going to go ahead and smite the blue buff and turn onto Darius. Sorry, Orianna, not much I could do for you there. But using my Qs, I'm going to pop my ultimate here just to really make sure we get this kill. And use my Spirit Fire, and one more Q is going to pick up that kill. So good stuff right there. It looks like they just slain dragons, so that's no good. But that'll happen. Can't take them all. But like I was saying, at this point in the game, as we move more into the team fighting phase, basically I'm relying on my Q to deal damage. I'm relying on my Wither to provide strong crowd control for the enemy AD carry to basically shut them down every time we get into a team fight. Caitlyn is going to be rendered worthless. So Caitlyn's gotten off to a fantastic start. She's 8-2-2. She's got 113 CS. She already completed an Infinity Edge. But the rest of this game, she really is not able to get a lot done. Just because, like I said before, Nasus is such a strong anti-tank. I'm sorry, anti-AD carry. He is such a strong tank to take out an AD carry. One of his primary roles. And so if you just pay attention to that, is Caitlyn's inability to remain effective as we get into this team fighting phase. And it's one of those things where you really cannot ignore Nasus. I know with some tanks, you don't really have to deal with them, and it's important to just ignore them. You know, like a Singed who's built straight tank. His Poison Trail might seem like it's going to do a lot of damage, but it really doesn't pack that much of a punch. But with Nasus, you really have to deal with him in some way. You have to find a way to take him out if you can, because, you know, with his Wither and his Q and his ultimate, he's going to deal a lot of damage to you. So, I would say when you're playing against Nasus, the biggest thing is to try to keep him down. If you allow him to get big, because like I said, he can do a lot of damage without items, but if you give him strong items in tankiness and damage, I mean, that's just going to really, really make your day very, very difficult. And at this point in the game, I'm starting to get very strong. This is where my power curve starts to kick in. Got a 3-second cooldown on my Q, dealing, you know, about 430, 440 damage. Very, very strong damage right there. You know, I've got 2 points in my ulti, which is really good. As we catch Darius right here, I'm going to get him with a Wither to slow him, but he is going to make it away. Not quite confident yet that we can really go in and deal this. There's a Wither onto Caitlyn, and like I said, she's rendered pretty much ineffective. But right here, this is bad news. I actually get collapsed on by the entire enemy team. Going to pop my ultimate and get a heal from Soraka, but not quite enough. They had to utilize a flash. So a lot of stuff used to take me down, and I was able to distract very nicely and kind of break up that team fight. So hopefully we will not be in too rough of a shape, but things are looking pretty bleak for our team right now. Nice pickup there by Kog'Maw on that Darius, and a really nice pickup here by Jace. Is he going to get this kill? Yes, he is. Right there. Nice job. Actually, Kog'Maw picked it up, but Jace fell to Caitlyn. But right here, hopefully Kog'Maw and Soraka are going to clean things up, but it looks like we got a flanking Tryndamere. That's going to spell bad news for these guys. But Kog'Maw is doing a lot of work. Oh man, it looks like everyone's going to get away. Ooh, and Tryndamere is here. He has arrived, and he is upset. Not good a situation at all. Yep, Kog'Maw, I don't know if you're going to be able to get away. Oh, maybe with the shield. Nice timed shield there, and nicely timed heal. So it looks like he is going to get away. Oh, a nice job by Orianna to burst down Caitlyn there. Really good stuff. And back up. So, like I said, at this point, I want to be a tank. I want people to be attacking me. When my ultimate is up, I want to get right in the middle, pop my Wither on the AD carry, and just start, you know, hacking away at the enemy team. You know, whether it's Tryndamere. Tryndamere is probably going to be my first target just because he's going to be diving the back line, and we want to get his Undying Rage out as soon as you can. That is probably the best way to deal with Tryndamere, is to just try and get out his Undying Rage. So popping my Wither onto him and just focusing him right there, and where I'm actually able to pick him up with a nice Q. Gonna pop my ultimate. I'm gonna tower dive. I'm not really that scared, but I can only take so many turret shots. But very good job there picking off Tryndamere with a really nicely timed Wither, and then using Jace's acceleration gate, Orianna's damage, my entire team really, to make sure we pick up that kill. So good stuff right there. And I would say with our team comp, we really need to be focusing on team fighting. We need to be team fighting, very strong team fight composition. Right here, Darius is going to dunk me, but a really, really nicely timed heal from Soraka, and we're going to pick up that kill. You can see my lifesteal there was actually crucial. And, ooh, I do end up going down. That's too bad. But my lifesteal was crucial to get me through that fight. Every time I would be attacking with my Q, I gained all that back in about, I want to say I have almost 30% lifesteal. Got to come up here. 10 seconds. There we go. Let's see exactly how much lifesteal I have. Looks like I have 25% lifesteal. So very, very strong. A quarter of that damage is going to come back to me every time I Q. Very, very good stuff right there. Let's get Orianna this blue buff. Darius just kind of poking around there in the back, but things are looking pretty bleak. We are definitely down. Darius is huge. Tryndamere is getting huge. Ahri really isn't that scary, but Caitlyn is pretty big. But for my team, you know, I'm getting pretty big. I've got a lot of items. I've got a ton of armor and health. Going to be going for some magic resist and just try to get myself to be as tanky as possible. Jace is doing okay. Orianna is really our strongest threat. And then Kog'Maw is kind of having an interesting game so far. Oh man, you can see just how much I was chunking Ahri there with my Q. Very, very strong stuff. Gonna try to get a Wither off onto Caitlyn, but she's gonna go ahead and 90 caliber net, or actually just run away straight away. But we're not in as bad of a position as the score might say. We're down quite a bit of gold, but you have to remember, Nasus scales really well. Kog'Maw scales really, really well. Jace will be able to deal a lot of damage. Orianna will have tremendous CC with her ultimate, and she's doing very strong as well, going to be dealing a lot of damage. So, you know, we're going to be in a good position to scale really, really hard into the late game. That's definitely going to be our time to shine. The longer the game goes on, the better our chances of winning are going to be. So yeah, just going to hope to try to drag the game out as much as we can. Try to trade kills. Trading kills is really important in this situation. But right here we see Thresh get caught out a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to focus. There's a Wither going down onto Tryndamere. You can see just how much it shuts him down. He's got to use his Undying Rage. There I pop my ultimate, dealing so much damage to all these people. There we go, picking up a kill onto Tryndamere. Next goes Darius, because Darius is attacking my Kog'Maw. Gonna pick up the kill on him right there. Actually, Kog'Maw himself gets it, and I gotta run away because I'm getting a little low. But let's go ahead and watch the rest of this team fight play out. Jace is gonna try to chase these guys down. Oh, it looks like he's gonna give up when he steps on a trap, but Ahri makes it out very low. But a very good team fight right there. You can see, we know that we're down in gold, but we were able to have a very solid team fight, and that's because our team comp is very good, and that is partly because Nasus works so well as a front line. You know, right there, I was really able to shut down Tryndamere. Getting that Wither onto him was crucial, because, you know, once the Wither goes down, there's really not a lot he can do. He is very dependent on getting in close. You know, if he gets kited, that's going to do really bad things for him. So we really want to make sure that we can shut him down. That's going to be my primary target. Then I moved on to Darius. You know, I did say before that I want to get my Wither onto the AD carry, but you know, Darius and Tryndamere are both AD targets, and they depend on getting in close. So if we can kite them, if I can use my Wither to peel for Kog'Maw and Jace to try to keep them alive, that's a really good thing. Gonna throw my Wither there onto Darius. Gonna get my Spirit Fire onto both he and Thresh just to scare them away. And you can see that our engagements are very strong. If I'm able to get a Wither on the right target, and if Jace and Kog'Maw can start really hammering down the damage, and Orianna as well, that things are going to go up for us. Another Wither onto Ahri, and she's in a lot of trouble. Going to land a Q there to chunk her down, and she's out of the team fight. So right there, able to get both Darius and Ahri out of the fight as we're sieging this tower. Just really shows, you know, I don't have the beast score. I'm only 5-4-2, only have 156 minion kills, but at this point in the game, my presence is certainly felt. You know, I've got my Spirit of the Ancient Golem. I've got my Iceborne Gauntlets. I'm probably working towards an Aegis, maybe a Giant's Belt item after that. Not sure which one. Probably going to be situational, but right here, going to pop my ulti. Go ahead, Thresh or Darius, pull me in. Please do. Everyone was focusing me. Let's watch this team fight one more time. This was great tanking. What I want to do is I want damage onto me. I want spells used on me. So right here, Tryndamere is attacking me. Darius is attacking me. Caitlyn's attacking me. Darius is going to use his ultimate on me. That's great. I really do want Darius and Tryndamere and Caitlyn to be focused on me, because that allows... Look at the rest of my team. They're relatively untouched. As Ahri does end up going down. So right there we go, 4 for 2. Fantastic. I will gladly die in exchange for 3 members of their enemy team. That's a great, great trade. Very, very good stuff right there. Definitely what you want to be doing. And that's just a role that Nasus really excels in. That's one thing that he does really, really well, is just getting into the mix of things and being really difficult to deal with. You know, you've got the Withers, you've got the ultimate, you've got the Spirit Fire for the AoE damage. You know, he's just a very strong team fighter in general. So you can see as I'm coming back up, I finished my Aegis. So very tanky, got 209 armor, 106 MR, 3000 HP. Just in a very strong position as we move into late game. We end up losing a lot of kills right there. 3 people ended up dying because they just kind of overstayed their welcome a little bit. But here we go. It's time to solo Dragon. Nasus can do this about 10 levels ago, but right there I'm going to pop my ultimate using my Q. You can see my health bar is literally not even going down because I'm just lifestealing it all right back. Using that percentage damage from my ultimate to really shred down Dragon. But they did end up taking Baron right there, which is not good for us. But not the end of the world. We've managed to close the gold gap. It was at one point about 6,000 or 8,000. Now we're about down to about 4,000, even with the loss of that Baron. Just continuing to farm up my Q. Let's go ahead and check where my Q is at right now at 300. So very, very good. When you're jungling as Nasus, you're not going to be quite getting the massive Q damage like you would if you're in lane. But, you know, like I said, you can probably only get 2 of the minions, you know, from like the Wraith camp, or maybe 2 of them out of the Wolves camp, or you could probably get both of them from the Golem camp. But generally, you're just not going to be able to get every single minion when you're jungling. But you know, whatever you can get will be good, and whatever you can do to bump up that Q damage, you know, it's going to really start to pay off at this stage in the game, because I'm tanky, yet I can deal a lot of damage. And like I said, there are not a lot of champions that, you know, can really say that. Right here, Thresh gets caught out in a really bad position. I'm throwing my Wither down, but now I'm turning to Tryndamere. Gonna go ahead and focus him down, pop my ulti. Right there, gonna get the kill on Tryndamere. Now I'm looking to Ahri. There she goes down. And now to Darius. Right there, he goes down as well. And so right there, really strong play. We have all of them down except for Caitlyn, who is extremely low. And we still have 3 up. So very, very good team fighting there. Good play by Ahri. Good job by Kog'Maw. And we're just going to go ahead and assault this Nexus. You know, it just shows you how, you know, even though things were a little rough early on, things got off to a bit of a rough start, we were able to really, you know, claw our way back into this game with some strong team fighting. Even though I still don't even think we have the gold lead, and we may never get it. But you see right there just how much damage, you know, Kog'Maw and I are doing to Caitlyn. But that's going to be game. Bit of a throw, and there we actually do end up tying up the gold lead with those turrets. But there's the win. Never caught up in kills, tied it up in gold, but we still got the win. Finished with 183 CS, 6, 5, and 8. But really some strong and effective tanking, getting in the mix, and just being really disruptive. That's really what Nasus does best. He scales into late game. He's a fantastic team fighter. And overall, very fun champion to play. So if you're looking for a really strong tank, Nasus is a great choice. He can still deal a lot of damage, and he has a lot of utility. Great in the jungle, great in the top lane. I would say in the top lane he's got a little bit more of a hard time because he's very susceptible to being kited. So I prefer him in the jungle just because you can really guarantee that farm. But the top lane does have a lot more potential for big Q numbers. But overall, I'm going to wrap things up. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely give Nasus a try if you have not. He's very, very inexpensive, I believe. So go ahead and pick him up and give him a shot. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you soon.